Man, I was merely going to share what I had recently found. Chrissy Lampkin committed a high-level treachery. He lost $7 million. However, was not lost or misplaced. It was simply snatched from him by the lady he was going to call his wife. The worst part is that Jim just recently got everything together. Now he's mad and outpacing, like a hurricane poised to burst, flipping chairs and banging walls, leaving Chrissy with just one dry-ass text. No tears, no explanation, just a damn. The most absurd thing is that she did not accomplish this alone. Someone from Jim's own close group helped her plan it. Yes, when money is involved, it's not thicker than paper. A reality television program. Imagine waking up and finding that your whole life was a trap and that this rabbit hole is deeper than you think. Imagine Jim paces his flat at 2 a.m. Where did that money go? You're going to chuck it phone across the room. No cap. Forget cheating. The only light in the room is the TV, which is delightfully playing classic love and hip-hop episodes as a sick joke. I'm red-eyed and sweaty, my hands clenched and unclenched. When Chrissy vanishes without a sound or goodbye, Jim goes to the safe. And here's the tipping moment. Whenever he opens it, everything is gone. Not simply money is disappearing, but every contract, USB drive, and cash stash are gone. But for one thing, a single gold bracelet that Chrissy left in the middle with a stamp like her, she signed as if she were confirming, yeah, I did it. Jim falls to his knees, breathing hard as if he's ready to lose it. He calls her and leaves voicemails and messages that are never accessed because you want to know what was on those USBs that went missing, who had access to his tour profits and a complete Bitcoin wallet and the only copy of an agreement he was negotiating to create a TV show under his name. That's a digital punch in the gut worth $5 million, you know. But wait, it gets worse. 2 hours later, Jim's phone rings and he gets a message reading, "Check your email. Do not call me." He opens his email, and then there is a video attachment with shaky footage that seems to have been recorded by A. You saw Chrissy 3 days ago. You'll be surprised to find someone in a black hoodie slipping into a Miami hotel suite, while others halt and zoom in. Jim first feels his eyes are playing tricks, but it turns out that Zeke is really leaving for days following Jim's. On the first day, one of Dipset's realists exits. Hours later, Chrissy is grinning while clutching a large folder with Zeke in a full backpack. At that time, Jim's phone slides from his fingers and strikes the floor, shattering trust like glass. Isn't about money anymore, but about betrayal and family. It just gets worse from here, since this is the woman choosing a bag above the guy who gave her his whole heart and boss. The identities are as clear as day in this snapshot of a legal document, even if the secret seal is partially obscured. Jim Jones, Lampkin, Chrissy, and a third name that nobody expected. Angela Rice. Who is she? She was Chrissy's ride or die back in 2012, and there was no backlash when she departed. Farewell tweets, no drama. She quietly disappeared from Chrissy's life as if she had died. The social media investigators did not wait. They went full CSI. There were reports that Jim had crossed the boundary until time, but no one understood the whole truth until today. Since Tweet 4 was the bomb that launched the internet, Chrissy's voice explodes through the distorted yet natural voice note. Through tears, he feels, "I am nasty, but he forgot what he did to me." To Angela, "I never forgot. I only waited for the appropriate opportunity. And then it dawned on me that this was slow retribution rather than the millions." While viewers are still comprehending the Angela tale, another take appears, and then another explosion happens. Cold Chrissy did not steal to damage his wallets. Instead, she hit where it would crush his spirit and make him feel abandoned and powerless, like she had previously done. A week before Jim's widely publicized Instagram live screen grab of the studio CCTV footage shows Chrissy arriving alone and leaving with a laptop. Not just any laptop, but Jim's primary vault, which included his unreleased music and contract. Folders, everything is gone, but the studio log indicates that the door was open using Frikucky's key card. Once again, the internet is going wild with Chrissy Lampkin. Matchup Jim is now officially commenting sections when conflicts become battlefields. She finally stood up for herself, and you're upset since she planned this for years. Jim broke her first, and she just modified the rules. You thought that was the end, but nope. Enter Zicky. That dives into treason. Jones, ma'am, I warned my child years ago not to allow a lady touch your bread, but he was in. Love and love create idiots. Jim's mother appears on Instagram Live with his hair wrapped in a robe and his Bible open on the table, giving the sermon of the decade. As she stares at the camera, the voice cracks. You now appear broke and ashamed. And the guy who did it sat in my home, laughed in my face, lied brazenly, and pointed right to the TV and stating, Chrissy, you're watching. Bring back what does not belong to you, since God does not toy with stolen blessings. The media has gone mad, and the feeds are filled with gossip blogs. TMZ publishes a bogus headline, and an insider claims the FBI would intercede if nonprofit funding misappropriated. She has done this, and if they connect it to a foundation, it is federal time now. Ignore reality TV in jail. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, a proven ghost, a writer in the music business who is renowned for leaking receipts, tweeted, "You all aren't ready for where Chrissy truly wired that 7. It is not who you believe it is, Ma. And it will get really awful when it drops. It's pure suspense. No names, no proof." Followed by radio silence. Chrissy deleted all accounts. Gone for 3 days in a row with no communication at the gym. Socials are not a breath, not a post. The stillness is louder than the drama. And everyone is waiting and checking their feeds to see that this isn't over. Just when the adrenaline fades for a second, Chrissy writes a single post again. It's a shot of her red-handled hand with no apology or statement, just fire. Caption, "Don't blame the wolf since you trained the snakes to hiss." Boom, another grenade. Dumped millions of likes in 1 hour without names and denials. Just a caution. Then came the real shock. The graphic depicts Nails holding a pen and a stack of financial statements in full view. One message read, "You guys think Chrissy just snapped has been building since 2012. Another tweet showed a hazy photograph of a legal document with 3 names. The bizarre thread after bizarre thread, like a Netflix documentary in text form. Jim Jones is visible. People begin to ask, who? Where the hell is Angela? Referring to Chrissy Lampkin and Angela Rise. Then old school fans realized Angela was Chrissy's best friend back then. I didn't take the money to harm him. I took it because he never apologized for what he did to her. So it's no longer just him." She vanished without posting anything or saying goodbye. Chrissy's voice is allegedly taken from a leaked voicemail that went viral. It wasn't about the millions. It was about undermining Jim's pride, authority, and just when it couldn't be more damning, surveillance video indicates that Chrissy was caught visiting Jim's hidden studio. She left 40 minutes later. She is clutching his laptop, which also has unreleased music contracts. Freaky Zicky's key card was used to unlock the door to the cryptocurrency wallets. Yes, this is Jim's pet brother. At this stage, it's an open fight with the streets taking sides. Cancel Chrissy trends. Chrissy begins trending more. The lady who ate at my table smiled in my face and lied to my kid about touching that foundation. Money, and is an example of Mama Jones going live with no gloss or filter. Opponent, she tells a terrifying lie to end the live stream. Chrissy, may God deal with you, for I am done being kind. When a blogger publishes this teaser, everyone is shocked. I know where the money went and who Chrissy paid off, and it will destroy someone. The timeline freezes. Fans immediately cease breathing, and Chrissy disappears from social media. Her account is gone, and there are no more posts. Jim stays quiet, but that silence is yelling, and the internet does not merely respond. It bursts within minutes after Chrissy's absence and begins to fly like shrapnel. Chrissy was conned to boost Chrissy's name via digital mup. Jim Jones dips at drama. She performed on Twitter was packed. Clubhouse rooms were reopened, and people were selecting sides like it was World War, instead of participating in dispute. As clowns, we shared her idea when the female Frank Ocean departed after dumping heat. But in this case, the heat was a theft. According to the popular post, Chrissy stole not just from Jim, but from all of us who believed in love. Years ago, the legendary Shade Camilla liked a post that said, "This is why you never include your woman on the paperwork." She also tweeted the popcorn emoji. Additionally, Fat Joe shared a weird video. You guys keep manufacturing these ideals of people's relationships. Even if Cardi B stepped in writing money and doing crazy things, I'm trying to warn you that this Hollywood love isn't intended to persevere. However, when it comes to your own guy, things are different. Meanwhile, the Shade Room Hollywood Unlocked and gossip blogs were on full yard overdrive. Each place revealed separate insider information claiming Chrissy had spent months preparing the holiday and that the purchases in Dubai were part of a financial scheme, and she had no intention of marrying Jim. She just intended to take advantage of him and go. Then followed the fake audio leak. A voice message, reportedly from Chrissy to her cousin, "Let them talk. I don't owe the world anything. I did what I had to do. Fans, you had to steal 7 mailers." She betrayed authority like a ghost. And Jim's silence just added to highlight. Fans went wild for Jim's villain journey anytime he tweeted a blank screen or a Drake quotation. And now he's going to produce a disc album called Stolen Hearts and Wire Transfers. Even streaming services include Spotify chipped in and added bail-in to their sentiments of betrayal. Instagram sites posted bogus wedding invites. Talkers made sketches showing her breaking into the studio and the most absurd portion of the shift. The organization petitioned to gain a Steam title, forcing Chrissy to compensate not because they wanted justice, but they also felt tricked. Hundreds of admirers have signed it. It wasn't just Jim Zell. The people was horrified, and with each minute of silence from Chrissy, the dust started to settle, and fans thought they had seen the worst. The mythos around her treachery grew. Late at night, the last twist hit like a bullet. An anonymous Dropbox connection started to circulate on Reddit, Twitter, and Discord. In a folder called Evidence, she wasn't just placed, it includes screenshots of audio recordings and money transactions. But the big bomb was a thorough NDA signed by Chrissy Lampkin, and someone nobody expected. That's correct, Miss Ham Dips. The internet is going insane because the guy who developed it with Jim General bled Harlem with him. Now the contract discloses that he received $450,000 transferred via a disguised LLC tied to Chrissy's offshore account, which Cameron was aware of. All this was an inside job, and now that it is finished, people are beginning to connect the connections. The Cam ceased showing up with Jim months ago, and there have been no shout-outs or collaborations. Chrissy not only broke Jim's heart, but also fractured his circle. Only one individual was toppled. Jim did not expect this, but here is where things go south. Chrissy would never pay me what I deserved, so I got it, and Cam promised to keep Jim occupied while he was waiting. One of the leaked voice notes shows Chrissy chatting to someone on speaker. What distracted their attention? Then came the last plunge, the greatest yet. An high-resolution photo that was definitely shot without their consent shows Chrissy, Cameron, and a third person at a rooftop club in Dubai. The third person was Angela Reyes, who seemed alive and at ease. Jim was only the piece being moved, and he was smiling while sitting next to Chrissy as if they were catching up over drinks. Then fans flatlined. No, don't tell me they were all in on it the whole time. Was a long-term swindle. Not payback across the board. But just as the internet explodes, Jim eventually says anything in a single Instagram story that includes simply one picture and no words or emojis. Jim's eyes grip the missing laptop. Zoom in on the yellow sticky note on the table's corner when he returns to the studio. The internet is now fully awake, and people are riveted to the screen. Since this narrative is far from over 4 words printed in large red, the screen became dark. There was no caption, sound, or follow-up, just silent treachery. You watched the online collapse of nearly $7 million, suddenly gone as if nothing had occurred. And you have heard the leaks. Jim's circle is in disarray. His trust is non-existent, and Chrissy did not quit the game on her own. She ghosted it with backup Cameron. We must now examine whether it was always part of the plan, or whether Chrissy was just picking up the 10 years ago. Jim left shattered pieces. Let us be honest, some of you have already. Angela is an experienced member of a team. Silence and shadows input reasons like, well, Jim, he had his dirt too. But if you think this chapter was insane, wait until we release the file. The actual question is, who is the villain here? Tell me in the comments. Sans sugarcoating or filters word on the street. Doesn't just Chrissy forgot to remove the burn. One Jim teased this situation is just getting started, so remember to whack that subscribe button if your jaw drops. At least once Chrissy flips the whole script, the bell as the next episode. Perhaps they don't want you to see you when the truth comes out. Part 2. Do not only irritate the stars.